Imagine a roaring lion walking through a crowded ancient festival. No cage, no fence, just a rope and a train. Thousands of people stand inches away, cheering. Why would any civilization do something this dangerous? The answer is stranger than you might think. Ancient humans didn't fear predators the way we do. They saw them as symbols of power itself. Bringing a wild beast to a festival was a message. It said, "We control even the deadliest creatures alive." Let's travel back to where this obsession truly began. Around 700 BCE in the Assyrian Empire, kings hunted lions publicly. These hunts weren't just sport, they were political theater. King Ashurbanipal staged lion hunts inside walled arenas. Servants released caged lions in front of cheering crowds. The king then killed them with a spear or bow. But why release lions instead of hunting them in the wild? Because a guaranteed victory made the king look invincible. Losing to a lion in public was politically unthinkable, so the wild hunt was carefully staged for effect. Stone carvings of these hunts still exist today. They show lions clawing at chariots in dramatic detail. This wasn't just Assyria's obsession. It spread everywhere. In ancient Egypt, pharaohs kept tamed lions as companions. Some pharaohs even walked lions on leashes during ceremonies. Ramesses II reportedly brought a lion into battle procession. Why would a ruler want a predator by his side? Because lions were linked to the sun, god Ra. Owning one meant claiming divine strength and protection. Cheetahs were also popular among Egyptian elites. Their speed symbolized swift justice and royal authority. But taming these animals came with brutal risks. Handlers were sometimes mauled during festival demonstrations. Still, the risk was seen as worth the message. Power that isn't dangerous doesn't impress anyone. Next, let's look at how Greece joined this tradition. Ancient Greek festivals for Dionysus featured wildcats too. Dionysus, the god of wine, was linked to leopards. Statues and vase paintings show him riding leopards or panthers. Some festival processions may have included live big cats. Why leopards specifically, and not lions or bears? Because leopards symbolized untamed, chaotic divine energy. Dionysus represented the wild, uncontrollable side of nature. Bringing a predator to his festival reinforced that symbolism. It reminded people that civilization sits close to chaos. This idea of taming chaos repeats across many cultures. Now let's head to the empire most famous for this. Ancient Rome turned predator festivals into massive spectacle. These events were called venaciones, meaning wild beast hunts. Lions, tigers, bears, and elephants were shipped from distant lands. Some animals traveled thousands of miles just for one show. Why go through such extreme effort and expense? Because Rome wanted to display its total global dominance. Capturing a lion from Africa proved Rome's reach. It showed Rome could conquer nature, not just nations. The Colosseum itself was built with animal enclosures underneath. Trapdoors allowed lions to appear suddenly from the floor. Crowds gasped as beasts emerged into blinding daylight. Gladiators sometimes fought these animals for public entertainment. Thousands of animals could die in a single festival day. Emperor Trajan once celebrated with games lasting 123 days. Historians estimate thousands of predators were killed during it. But was this purely for entertainment or something deeper? It was also a tool for political control. Emperors used these games to win public loyalty. Free spectacle kept citizens distracted and satisfied. A famous saying summed up this strategy perfectly: "Give the people bread and circuses, and they stay calm." Wild predators became part of that circus form, but Rome wasn't alone in using animals this way. Let's move further east, to ancient Persia. Persian kings built massive walled parks called paradisos. These parks housed lions, leopards, and other exotic animals. The word paradise actually comes from this Persian term. Kings hosted festivals and hunts inside these private reserves. Guests watched as trained predators were released for hunts. Why build entire parks just to house dangerous animals? Because controlling nature was seen as controlling the world. A king who tamed a lion could surely tame nations. This symbolism made animal festivals a display of legitimacy. Now, let's shift to a completely different continent. In ancient China, emperors also collected exotic predators. Tigers were especially significant in Chinese royal culture. The tiger symbolized courage, strength, and military command. Some emperors kept tigers in palace menageries for display. Festivals and ceremonies sometimes featured caged tigers as centerpieces. Why was the tiger chosen over other predators? Because in Chinese belief, the tiger ruled the animal kingdom. Displaying one meant the emperor ruled above all beasts. This wasn't just about fear, it was about hierarchy. Predators represented the top of a natural pyramid. Placing a human above that pyramid meant ultimate authority. Now let's cross the ocean to Mesoamerica. The Aztecs and Maya had a deep predator obsession too. Jaguars were considered sacred, godlike creatures in their culture. Aztec rulers kept live jaguars inside royal zoos. These zoos were sometimes opened during major festivals. Warriors called jaguar warriors wore full jaguar pelts. Why did jaguars hold such spiritual significance here? Because jaguars hunted silently, in darkness, like unseen spirits. They were linked to the underworld and divine power. Bringing a live jaguar to a festival honored the gods. It also proved a warrior's bravery and connection to power. Some rituals even involved symbolic combat with captive jaguars. This showed courage in the face of divine danger. Across cultures, one pattern keeps repeating itself. Predators were never just entertainment. They were symbols. They represented chaos, power, danger, and divine strength. Taming or displaying them meant taming those forces too. But how exactly did ancient people control these animals? Captive predators were usually caught as young cubs. Cubs were easier to raise and condition to humans. Handlers used food rewards to build dependency and trust. Some animals had teeth or claws deliberately removed. This reduced danger but also caused the animals suffering. Chains, muzzles, and ropes were common at public events. Even tamed predators remained dangerous and unpredictable. Ancient texts record multiple incidents of handlers being attacked. So why keep repeating such a risky tradition? Because the danger itself was part of the spectacle. A safe animal wouldn't impress anyone watching. The presence of real risk made the display meaningful. This is similar to modern fascination with extreme stunts. Humans have always been drawn to controlled danger. It creates excitement without real personal risk to viewers. Ancient festivals used predators the same way today's media does. But there's another reason predators mattered so much. Many ancient religions linked animals directly to gods. Lions were tied to sun deities in several cultures. Bears were sacred to hunting and forest spirits. Wolves symbolized loyalty, war, or ancestral spirits in others. Bringing these animals to festivals invited divine presence. It wasn't just symbolic, it felt spiritually real to them. A predator's presence was believed to channel real power. This made festivals feel sacred, not just entertaining. Now, only the wealthy could usually afford this practice. Capturing, transporting, and feeding predators cost enormous resources. Kings and elites often competed to show off rarer animals. The rarer or deadlier the beast, the higher the status. Owning a lion was impressive, owning a tiger was rare. Owning multiple species at once was the ultimate flex. This turned predator displays into an ancient status symbol, similar to owning luxury cars or rare items today. But instead of metal and paint, it was teeth and claws. As empires grew, this tradition didn't disappear. It evolved. Medieval Europe continued the pattern in different forms. Bear baiting events became popular public spectacles later on. Traveling menageries brought exotic animals to town festivals. Kings across Europe kept private predator collections for centuries. The Tower of London even housed a royal menagerie. Lions, leopards, and even a polar bear lived there. Why would a medieval king want a polar bear? Because gifting or owning exotic beasts symbolized global influence. Foreign rulers sent rare animals as diplomatic gifts. A polar bear proved connections to distant, powerful lands. This tradition eventually shaped the modern circus and zoo. Circuses in the 1800s revived the predator spectacle again. Lion tamers became star performers at traveling shows. The same ancient thrill returned in a new format. People still wanted to see humans dominate wild beasts. Modern zoos also trace back to these royal menageries. What began as festivals slowly became public education spaces. But the core fascination never really changed. Humans have always wanted to witness controlled danger. So what does this tell us about ancient psychology? Predators represented everything early humans feared in nature. Storms, disease, and death felt uncontrollable and random. But a lion could be captured, chained, or defeated. Taming a predator gave people a feeling of control. It suggested that even nature's fury could be mastered. Rulers used this feeling to strengthen their political power. If they could tame a lion, they could tame chaos. That message reassured entire societies during uncertain times. Festivals became a shared moment of collective confidence. Communities watched danger get defeated right before their eyes. It offered comfort, excitement, and unity all at once. This is why these events weren't just for kings. Common people attended too, and felt part of something bigger. Watching a predator paraded through the streets was thrilling. It broke the monotony of everyday agricultural life. For a few hours, ordinary people felt close to danger. And danger, when controlled, feels strangely exciting to humans. This psychological pull hasn't disappeared even now. We still watch horror movies and extreme sports for thrills. Ancient predator festivals were an early version of that thrill. They combined religion, politics, entertainment, and fear into one event. Few other traditions manage to blend so many purposes. That's part of why this history still fascinates us today. It reveals something timeless about human nature itself. We are drawn to power, danger, and mastery over both. Ancient humans expressed that pull through live predators. Modern humans express it through different symbols and shows, but the underlying desire remains strikingly similar. So the next time you see a lion in old art, remember it wasn't just decoration or random imagery, it was a message about power, fear, and control. A message ancient societies literally paraded through their streets. And it all started with one simple, dangerous idea. That taming the wild could make you seem unstoppable. That idea shaped empires, religions, and festivals for centuries. And in many strange ways, it still shapes us today.